Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start this video by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachakwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elders, apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Salutation to the hopeful elect, those who are keeping the words, those who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shai until the return of the Lord. All right, so let's get into it. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson, and this lesson will be pertaining to how the laws are there to instill the fear of the Lord in us. All right. So it says here in 2 Corinthians 5:11, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. That was the point. We know the terror of the Lord. We know that the Lord is as it says in Hebrews 10:31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. The Lord Yahweh Shai himself told us not to fear man that can only hurt the body, but to fear him who can hurt the body and cast the soul into hell. All right, the Lord's judgment is fearful. You do not want to get the Lord angry, because we know what the Lord can do, man. Matter of fact, we actually don't know what the Lord can do unto us, man. We don't even know what the Lord can do to us, man. That's why it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. It says here in Deuteronomy 6:1, now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgment which the Lord your power commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mayest fear the Lord thy power, to keep all his statutes, his commandments, which I commanded thee, thou and thy sons and thy sons' sons, all the day of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. So ultimately, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments will instill the fear of the Lord, because there is a punishment for disobedience. Okay, if you disobey the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, there's a consequence, right? And that consequence is the thing that establishes fear, the fear of the Lord. Okay, it says here in Job 28:28, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. And what is to depart from evil is to abstain from breaking the commandments, disobey from committing sin. Okay, that is understanding, because we understand that the wages of sin is death. So to abstain from it is life. Okay, to put the law, statutes, and commandments in practice, to actually do them, that is wisdom. Okay, it says here in Deuteronomy 8:5, thou shalt also consider in thine heart, that as man chastened his son, so the Lord thy power chastened thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord, to walk in his ways, and to fear him. Okay, so as the Lord punishes, just as a father would punish his son for disobeying his direction, the same way the Lord will punish us. As it says, I believe in Hebrews, give me a second. Hebrews 12:9. Furthermore, we have fathers of our flesh which correct us, and we give them reverence. So, I'll read that again. Hebrews 12:9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. We reverence them. You respect your father. If he tells you don't go out, you don't go out, because if he catches you outside, when you get home, you're gonna catch a belt. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Right? Because as it says, the issues of death are in his hands. So the fact that you're going to disobey his commandments, there is going to be repercussions. There is going to be a consequence for you being stubborn and stiff-necked. Okay? It says here in Job 5:17, behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He wounded, and his hands make whole. Okay, so as I said, the issues of death are in the hands of the Lord, right? As it says in Deuteronomy 32 and 39, see now, even I am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is any that can deliver out of my hand. So knowing that, you should fear Him. Knowing that, you should fear the Lord, man. The Lord is not your buddy, man. He's not your friend that you can go have a drink at the bar. You can be drinking beers with. The Lord is your Father. The Lord is the Father of spirits, and he chastens those that He loves, but also he punishes those that hate Him. Okay, so that being said, and how do you love Him? By obeying His commandments. So the fact that you disobey His commandments, that goes into rebellion. You know. The fact that you disobey His commandment goes into rebellion. Okay, which means to go to war again. Okay, meaning again, and rebellion, believe it's war. You know, so you're going back to war against the Most High for not being obedient to His commandments. Yeah, and the consequence is usually, most of the time, the consequence is death. You see, there are sins that are not unto death, but you're still gonna get judged. You see. Deuteronomy 10 and 2 to us like it. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. And now Israel, what does the Lord thy power require of thee? So this is what is required of us. But to fear the Lord thy power, to walk in all His ways, and to love Him, and to serve the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul. That is what is expected of us as children of the Most High. To fear Him, first of all, to walk in His ways, that means to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, to love Him, and to serve Him with all our heart and with all our soul. That is what is expected of us, man. Okay? To keep the commandments of the Lord and His statutes which I commanded thee this day for thy good. At the end of the day, the law, statutes, and commandments, the fear of the Lord is for our good. It says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. His treasure, the fear of the Lord is His treasure. Okay? So to have this understanding, it's really, at the end of the day, that's going to be a benefit unto thee, man. Because all these people are going to be bugging out, man. But you have the understanding. You know that the Lord is in control of everything, man. And you put your trust in Him. He will have, you pray that He has mercy upon you in the times of trouble. You know? And first off, you know who to direct your prayers. You know who to turn to in the time of need, in the time of distress. But these other people, man, they're going to be through. They're going to call on Allah. They're going to call on Buddha. They're going to call on Muhammad. They're going to call on everything except for the Lord. And that's why the Lord is going to mock them, and He's not going to listen to them, man. He's not going to answer them, man. He's only going to answer them with death, pestilence, and plagues, man. You see? And death. It says here in Leviticus 18 and 4, ye shall do my judgment and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your power. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments. If a man do which if a man do, ye shall live in them. I am the Lord. So as it says, if you do what is expected of you as a servant of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, you will live. Okay. It says here in Deuteronomy 11 and 26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing, if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your power, which I command you this day. And the curse is to put that fear in you, man. You hear about the curses, you hear these things, man, you fear, and you don't want these things to be upon you, man. You see? So the law, statutes, and commandments, again, is to instill the fear of the Lord in us, man. And the curse, if you will not obey the commandments of the Lord, your power, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, and to go after other gods which ye have not known. Okay? It says here in Deuteronomy 8 and 19, and it shall be if thou do, and it shall be if thou do at all forget the Lord thy power, and walk after other powers, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day that ye shall perish. He's telling you, man, you know, if you go against the Lord, if you rebel against the Lord, to not obey His commandments, to walk according to your own lust, you know, to follow other idols, to follow idols, you shall surely perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyed before your face, so shall ye perish, because you will not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord, your power. Okay? So that goes into you have to be obedient, man. Your rebellion will lead you unto death. Okay. It says here in Deuteronomy 10 and 20, thou shalt fear the Lord thy power, him shall thou serve, and to him shall thou cleave and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy power. He had done for thee this great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. So we've seen the miracles in Egypt. We've seen the miracles that he's done for us throughout the whole time, man. Throughout the whole generations, man. It tells us to look at the generations of old and see what the Lord has done for these people. You know, how the Lord had not forsaken those that called upon him, but how at the same time he destroyed those that were our enemies. He destroyed our enemies, and he abased whoever was against Israel at the time where they were righteous. You see, they were greatly defeated. You know, and it says in Judith 5 how even that Moabite was telling the king, yo, if there's no iniquity in these people, you don't even try to fight them, because the Lord's gonna fight for them. You see, unless these people sin, the Lord's gonna be with them, man. You see, so if there's no iniquity on these people, don't try to fight them, man, or else you're gonna be destroyed, man. Unless the Lord blots out your name from the book of blots out your name from the living, man. You see. So even these nations know that even these nations know, and they fear the Lord, man. The name of the Lord is dreadful among these heathens, man. But how much more us that the Lord has holds us to a higher standard for the fact that we know his ways, that we know his laws, statutes, and commandments. See, we know what is pleasing to his sight, what is pleasing in his sight. You know, so how much more if you don't do it, okay? You know, stripes, that servant that knoweth the will of his father shall be beaten with more stripes. You know, as Yahushua said, it is better for you not to know the will of the Lord than to actually understand it and to fall out. You know. So it says here in Deuteronomy 21 and 18, and this is an example of a judgment, an example of judgment. Exactly, it's an example of judgment and a reaction of instilling fear into the people. You know, it says here in Deuteronomy 21 and 18, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, you see, a son that does not hearken unto that father, you know, which will not obey the voice of his father, and nor the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, he will not hearken unto them. And in a sense, spiritually, that's Israel, man. Especially the 2/3. They do not obey. They do not obey the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They do not hearken to the prophets, you know, and they do not want to walk after the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Even after being chastised, you know, even after the curses, they still don't want to bow down and humble themselves unto the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. See, then shall his father and his mother lay hold of him, and bring him out unto the elders in the city, and unto the gates of his place. And they shall say unto the elder of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Okay, and that's your son, man. If your son is being stubborn, but imagine this in this society, you can't even chastise you can't even beat your children. In a sense, when I say beat, I mean correct them, your children. The child services at your door telling you know, and the police to beat you up and to put you in jail. If you know, let's say you hit your son or your daughter, you know, with the belt. You hit them with the belt because they've been disobedient. They're making a mess. They're doing all sorts of folly. You're correcting them. Next thing you know, a couple hours later, the police is there and the child services are there to beat you up. You see, to beat you up and put you in jail. This is an upside down society that we live in. We're living in bizarro world, you know. So it says here, and now the men of the city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put away, so shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and shall fear. You see, a lot of things would be corrected if most of these people were put to death at a young age, man. All these serial killers, all these murderers, all these thieves, you know, all these people, like you can tell from a young age, like, yo, that guy's wicked, man. You see, at one point, you know, if you just put these people to death, the place would have been, the earth would be a way better place, man. You see. But anyways, it says here, if any man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be put to death, thou shalt hang him on a tree. You see, and even that, seeing that man hung on a tree, that's just to show you what happens unto those that disobey the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, I wanted to bring out another precept in Deuteronomy 13, but it goes to the same effect. You know how, and if any man, thy brother, thy mother, thy sister, anyone that you know, tries to entice you secretly to go worship another power, you know, you can't have pity on that person. You have to expose him, bring him in front of the city, and you throw the first stone, and let the rest of the city throw the stones, and that person has to be put to death, so that the evil may be put out, and Israel shall fear, and will not do the same actions. Okay. And that's ultimately what happens, man. The consequences, the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the consequences of disobeying the laws, statutes, and commandments are there to instill the fear of the Lord in us, man. To remember that the Lord is the Almighty, okay? To remember that He's in control, and we have to humble ourselves in His sight, man. Okay? And understand that at any time He could just off us, man. We're worthy of death, man. We're worthy to be killed, man, for all the iniquities that we committed, man. You know? And the Lord will be justified to put us to death, man. Alright? And that being said, you know, we have to, again, the fear of the Lord is wisdom. The fear of the Lord is understanding, man. So we have to move it that according to this knowledge, man. You see? So I hope this lesson was edifying. I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Wacha, Kwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elders, apostles, and elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Salutation to the hopeful elect of the house of Israel, those who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments until the return of Yahushai. Peace and blessing, salutation. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom, shalom, shalom. DTA, Abba, Kwam Yashala, shalom.